All right, welcome back to Shameful Locks. I know we had a little bit of a week off. Not really. Our Supreme Leader did let us down a little bit, but we did give picks last week. We just did not have time to record them. Some of us had a roommate's birthday, followed by our own birthday, followed by Halloween. So we couldn't find a time to record last week, but we did give picks. And
Yeah.
the compromise we had come to was our Supreme Leader was going to put them in a graphic and we'll just post the graphic and call it a week. But he got busy and he forgot, which as we always say, is who's that on? And his response should be, "Hey man, that's on me," and we'll be cool with that. We can accept that. But we've got some recapping to do. We are recording a little later. It is Friday afternoon here in Columbus, Ohio for me. It is 12:02 in the afternoon, November 3rd. Thursday night recap. Steelers took care of business. Didn't look pretty. Any thoughts on that, Blake?
Wasn't pretty, but there were some good performances. Broderick Jones, JPJ, DJ finally caught a touchdown. They won, which was the important thing, but still like the offense has to be better. So
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Can he look clutch again? I mean, he didn't look great a majority of the game, but he
yeah.
looked good when it mattered. So I'll hang my hat on that, I guess. But we've got some recapping to do. So this week is going to be week 9, but we missed week 7 recap and our week 8, which you guys didn't even get to see, unfortunately. So we'll go quickly over that since I feel like that's not very fair to give out picks and then talk about how great we did. But week 7, real quick, we'll go through. Blake had a sweep. Blake went 3-0 in week 7. He had Giants money line, Travis Kelce over 72.5 receiving yards, dub. And then his lock of the week was Kenneth Walker over 77.5 rushing yards, dub. So Blake actually during week 7 had a 3-0 sweep where he went up 3.02 units. And then
Huge.
I kept up my sweep ways where the last 3 weeks I can't stop sweeping, but not always in a good way. I either go 0-3 or 3-0. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. But week 7, I had 3 L's. I took Lions money line against the Ravens. Not even close. They suck. Cooper Kupp over 90.5 receiving yards. It was always Puka Nacua, apparently. Screw Cooper Kupp. And then I took Bucks minus 2.5 for my lock of the week, L. So that sucked. I went 0-3 during week 7, lost 3 units straight up. It sucked. But this is going to sound really goofy. Again, like I said, we didn't get to give our picks out last week, but it was the best week we've had all year.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
figure. We sorry, back to week 7, our TD of the our joint TD parlay cashed. We had Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts touchdown that cashed at plus 303. So
Hell
we
yeah.
did get our first win on the joint TD parlay in week 7, and actually led to week 8, which I'll discuss now. We did Jalen Waddle and Brees Hall touchdown cash, so we are now 2-2 on our joint TD parlays, which feels good because those started out 0-2 and not great at first. But hopefully we can keep the hot streak going there. I'll briefly cover week 8. I feel bad talking about it since we don't want to talk about how great we did, even though you guys didn't have the opportunity to see our picks. But I had a sweep. I went 3-0. I did Vikings to be winning the first half against the Packers this week. Dub. Darnell Mooney. This was actually really funny. I did Darnell Mooney over 25.5 receiving yards, and he got it on the first play of the game with like a 41-yard catch. Didn't get another catch to the rest of the game. So I cashed it at least. And then my lock of the week was Jets and Texans to cover plus 3.5. Both of those got that done. Unfortunately, you guys weren't able to tail, but I went up 2.97 units last week, taking me to a total of 10-14 on the season. I am still down 4.28 units, unfortunately. And then Blake, for week 8, you went 2-1. Can't even be mad about that. That's a profitable week.
Yes, sir.
But you had a magnificent backdoor cover with Cardinals plus 9.5. They kicked a field
Huge.
goal after they recovered an onside kick. That was wild. You had Pacheco over 64.5 rushing yards. I'm not sure. Do you know how many he got? I know he didn't get it, but do you
I think
know?
like maybe like 48, 40s. I can't remember. But
Okay, so it wasn't. It was still in play. I know that the
yeah,
Broncos
yeah,
beat the Chiefs, and when you're
hmm
losing, you don't tend to run the ball a lot. That's just how
yeah.
it
They
goes.
sucked, but
And then your lock of the week was Devontae Smith over 48.5 receiving yards. I think he doubled that. I think he got like 98 or something like that.
yeah, just under 100. So
Nice. So last week you did go up positive 0.66 units. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm sorry guys, we didn't get the content out last week, but we did perform well. So that's just good if you're looking towards our total track records. Blake, you are now 14-10 on the year plus 3.11 units. So how's it feel to be in the positive?
it's good, man. I mean, the boys are hot right now, so hopefully we can keep that going, win some more money, and go 6-0 this week. That's a goal. So
That would be sick. We have yet to do that, but we were really close last week. We only had one loss and we won our joint TD parlay. So
mhm.
it's good. Let's keep it rolling. And before we get started, as always we got to go cover the bye weeks just so we know. We got 4 bye week teams this week. We got Broncos, Lions, Jaguars, and 49ers here in week 9. None of those teams are playing. As always, we will not be betting on them. But yes, more week 9 talk. Let's get to our picks here. As always, we both are going to give out one game pick, one player prop, and then one of our shameful lock. Essentially, that's just going to be our favorite play of the week. Mr. Profio, do you want to go first or do you want me to?
You can go first. You can
Me?
kick it off. Yeah.
Lucky me. All right, cool. I'll start with my game pick here. So I'm going to Germany for my game this week. There is a game in Germany. It is between the Dolphins and the Chiefs. It's going to be a 9:30 a.m. game Eastern time, and I'm going to take the under 50.5 total points. I got this at minus 108 on DraftKings this morning. And some might call me crazy for taking this under in this kind of matchup. I know this is a big marquee matchup, and if I feel like it's kind of weird that this is an international game. I feel like this game just kind of screams Sunday Night Football to me, or Monday night, or prime time game. But I guess it is in its own standalone window, 9:30 a.m. I feel bad for the West Coasters out there. Going to be watching this at 6:30 a.m. That blows. But I would wake up for this game. Should be good, but hopefully not too good. But a lot of people are going to call me crazy for taking the under in this matchup. But since 2021, there has been 10 international games: Mexico, England, Germany, all sorts of places around the world. Of those 10 games, only one of them has gone over 50.5 points. International games average to then tend to be pretty lower scoring games. The average is 43 points when it comes to international games. Whether it doesn't matter who's playing. I know the Dolphins seem like they're playing international games every year, just like the Jags do. But it just seems like, I'm no scientist here, but there's something that impacts these offenses when teams tend to play in international games. I don't know, jet lag, some type of there's a lot of like ins and outs of it. Like teams, should we go on Monday? Should we travel on Thursday? Should we give ourselves more time to adjust to the time change? Should we just say screw it and play our game? I'm not going to tell you there's an answer or one that's going to be better, but I think a lot of that goes into play when you trying to get your offense rolling like it normally does. And like I said, I think a lot of people are going to be on the over in this game. But I think the Chiefs D is real solid. The Chiefs O has been a little shaky of lately. I think this is going to be one of those moments where everyone zigs, and I'm going to zag here, going with the under in the Chiefs Dolphins game, under 50.5.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see how all those unders hit. Well, under 50.5. That's pretty crazy trend. But yeah, it definitely has to do with some like jet lag and just playing in a new location that you're not familiar with, and then being out of the United States. So I like the pick. I mean, I don't know if you consider this a primetime game, but I think I would, just because it's kind of a standalone game, and the primetime unders are like what, 40 and 28 or something this year,
Yeah.
like that. So
If there's a primetime game, good chance it's an under, unless it's
yeah.
that one time you took it.
hmm All right, so I'll go to my game pick. So I'm taking the Jets plus 3.5 versus the Chargers, and I got that at minus 112 on DraftKings. So right now the Jets defense is carrying that team. That there's no other way around that. Their offense is pretty bad. Like Zach Wilson he's just not a good quarterback. He makes a couple throws where you're like, okay, this guy could be a legit quarterback, but then he just doesn't consistently make those routine plays. But that offense just runs through Brees Hall. That guy is a dog, and I think right now he's a top 10 running back, if not a top 5 with all the playmaking he does for that team. And then they're playing the Chargers. The Chargers always Charger. They always find a way to lose. They always do. I think their coach is a dumbass. He's terrible. The Jets, they're playing at home. They're a gritty team. They're tough to play in New York or New Jersey, wherever their stadium is. But I think it'll be a low scoring game, and I think the Jets make it close and keep it interesting.
Yeah, I like that pick, and I'll actually talk about that pick maybe a little on, spoiler alert. But again, I'm a full believer that Brandon Staley is probably the dumbest coach in the NFL. Maybe an honorable mention to like McCarthy, the Cowboys coach, but he's the coach that definitely like makes me say, "What the fuck are you doing?" out loud the most, and it's not even close.
Yeah, he sucks.
I full-heartedly agree with that. But yeah, that's a good pick. I'll go to my player prop for the week. I am going to Alvin Kamara over 98.5 receiving yards plus rushing yards. So combining the two, just going to be total scrimmage yards. I got this minus 114 this morning on FanDuel. And I know this is a little weird prop. I think this is the first time one of us has attacked this market. But I think it's great because he can either get this via rushing or receiving. It's a great best of both worlds. And I think Kamara is definitely a guy you want to target when it comes to this kind of market. He is a monster when it comes to amount of catches he's been getting the last few weeks. He was suspended the first few games. I think it was 2 or 3. But since coming back from his suspension, he has averaged 25 touches a game, whether that's running or catching the ball. And he is that's just going to correlate to a positive thing for us here, meaning he's getting plenty of chances to get these yards that we're going to need. And he's just going to have chance after chance here. Kamara is averaging 109.6 yards through 5 games this year when it comes to rushing plus receiving. So I'm really confused why this line's under 100 if his average is over 100. He is playing the Bears this week, and the Bears are not the most solid unit when it comes to defense here. But I think Kamara's going to get this done pretty easily. The Bears played the Chargers last week, and I know they stopped Austin Eckler from running it a ton. I think Eckler only had like 30 or 40 yards rushing, but he had like almost 100 yards receiving.
Yeah.
So if they're stopping one thing, they're not going to be able to stop both, I think. And I think Kamara's going to get his chances here with his total touches. He's a beast, and I think he's going to get easily over 100 here total.
Yeah, that's another team where their offense completely runs through their running back. I mean, he gets, whether it's rushing or mostly catching out of the backfield, like he's going to get his touches. It's inevitable. Like he's got, I think Derek Carr is he playing this week? I don't know if he played last week, but yeah, he just throws it down to Kamara. Kamara makes a play. I like that pick. So
yeah, Kamara is one of the sole reasons I refuse to do full PPR and fantasy, because he could go out there and you've seen it twice this season already, where he has like 12 catches and he'll have 30 yards, and it's just total BS. But yeah, again, he gets touches.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to my player prop. I have Dalton Kincaid over 38.5 receiving yards, and I got that line at minus 114 on FanDuel. So over the last 2 games, he's crushed his mark with 75 and 85 yard performances. Dawson Knox, he's usually their tight end 1, but he's on IR, so Kincaid will remain the tight end 1 for that team. The Bengals, they don't really cover tight ends too well. They give up 65 yards a game to tight ends, and last game they gave up 149 yards to Kittle, and the week before that they gave up 86 yards to Hawkinson. So yeah, they're not doing a great job at covering tight ends, and I think this game, it has some potential to be a high scoring game. Um, it's another is that Sunday night, right?
Yep, Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I know primetime games have been, hitting the unders a lot, but I think Kincaid is going to become a huge part of that offense. And he's starting to become Josh Allen's number two, number three option. So
Yeah, I agree with that. Ever since Knox has gone down, Kincaid's been going through the roof recently, and I think 38.5 is way too low.
yeah.
I agree. Good pick. I'm actually going to stay in that game for my shameful lock of the week here. Shocker, I'm going to another alt line parlay here. Just two legs, but I'm moving the lines a little bit. Like to get some good better numbers here for me. To seem a little more favorable. But this week I am going to Bengals plus 3.5 parlayed with Jets plus 10.5. I got that this morning for plus 100 at BetMGM. And I'll start with the Bengals here. Like you were just talking about, Blake. The Bengals play the Bills this week on Sunday Night Football at home. And I think the Bengals are finally getting back to their form again, taking care of business last week against the 49ers. Joe Burrow is looking back like his former self. Bengals offense looking great and explosive again. Bills have been playing a lot of zone defense this year and past years, and Burrow just picks apart zone defenses. I think the Bengals will probably win this game, going to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm playing the safer plus 3.5 just in case somehow the Bills win this game by, I don't know, 3 or less. But yeah, hopefully everyone stays healthy in this game, and hopefully the game doesn't get canceled. Last time this game did get canceled. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But for my second leg, I am taking the Jets for a lot of the same reasons that Blake mentioned a minute ago. I'm taking the Jets plus 10.5. I don't necessarily trust the Jets to maybe necessarily win this game, but I trust the Chargers not to win it by a lot, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers tend to blow things. They don't win games they should. If there's a team that they should probably win by 14, they're probably going to win by 3, and it'll be lucky, or they almost lost. I definitely could see this game coming down to whoever going to make the field goal to end the game.
Yeah.
I think the Jets D has been playing really good and making opposing offenses look really silly so far this year, and the Chargers D has been real suspect at times. I don't trust them. And like we mentioned before, I absolutely hate the Chargers coach, Brandon Staley. I think he's a moron.
Yeah.
Not a good coach, should be fired. On team, the Chargers should be one of the best teams in the league, and they're not, and I blame them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like both of those picks. Jets talked about that a little earlier, and yeah, the Bengals are finally hitting their stride. Joe Burrow's looking like that MVP candidate that he was, last year and the year before that, and they're really finding their rhythm. And they're playing at home. It's going to be an emotional game for both teams. So yeah, love it.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, so moving on to my lock of the week. I have Saquon Barkley over 76.5 rushing yards. And I got that at minus 114 on FanDuel. So the past 3 games, he's surpassed this mark by a good bit. And then he's coming off a 128-yard performance, which is his best of the season, where I think he got like 36 rushing attempts, which is just absolutely insane. And they still lost. But in his last 3 games, he's also gotten 21 plus touches, rushing attempts. So he's their offense. Just like I talked about Breece Hall earlier, like he's the engine of that offense. They're going to give him the ball no matter what. The Raiders, they're pretty bad on defense. They give up 120 yards a game to running backs, which is a lot. I think that's like second or third most in the league. And then Gibbs just ran for 152 yards on him Monday night, I think that was. So I'm expecting this to be a dogfight of a game, two kind of terrible teams, and hoping that Saquon capitalizes on that defense.
Yeah, I like that pick. I know we were talking about earlier. I kind of wanted to take Giants money line this week, but that new coach for the Raiders, man, I don't know if you've seen some of these press conference videos, but the players really seem to be rallying around this coach I've never heard of. But again, I know Daniel Jones is back for the Giants this week, and honestly, the Giants offense just runs through Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, they do. So,
all right, it's that time of the wheel. Real quick, actually, hold on. I meant to say this earlier. For those who are keeping track, on our shameful locks so far, Blake is undefeated. He is yet to lose one. I know I put that out there, but
You just jinxed me. You just jinxed me.
I think that's a positive thing. You're 4-0. That's sick, man. So
knock on wood right now.
my desk gets made of wood, so hear me out there. But if you're a little skeptical about any bet to tail, I'd recommend tailing Blake's shameful lock of the week. I know I will. I am only 2-2 on those so far. But without further ado, it is that time of the week, joint TD parlay time. We both pick one guy we like to score an anytime touchdown, parlay him, and then we ride it. It's again not counting towards our records or anything, but it's just for fun. We have won our last two of these. We are 2-2 on these on the season. So I'll start with mine. For my guy, I'm going with Devontae Smith. I'm going with a Devontae Smith anytime touchdown. I got this for about plus 200 on FanDuel. They're playing the Cowboys this week. The Eagles are, and it should be hopefully a high scoring game. And Devontae Smith, over his last two games against the Cowboys, he scored 3 touchdowns. So hopefully he rides hot against tailing or destroying the Cowboys.
Yep, I love that because he's on my fantasy team. So hopefully he scores.
I'm playing this week.
Once again, for my touchdown pick, it's going to be completely random. I just go through and pick a player and say, okay, that looks good. So I'm rocking with Chris Olave. No rhyme or reason, but yeah, we've hit 2 in a row, so might as well keep rocking with that. So
he's due. I don't think he's had one. I think he's only had like 1 touchdown this year. And being the number 1 receiver, you'd think he'd have a lot more.
Right.
But he's on one of my fantasy teams. So
what were the best combined odds you found?
Yeah, so I Chris Olave and Devontae Smith, if you parlay those together, we got that for plus 841. Mark that, 841.
Wow.
I know, which is significantly higher than what we usually get. We usually get again, we did unfortunately when we do these, we usually get them for like plus 300, plus 400, but plus 841 is pretty massive for us.
Oh yeah.
And I feel good about it. I feel really good about it, and hopefully we can repeat what we did last week and like you said, come out 6-0 with a joint TD parlay winner.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet. That'll go ahead and wrap us up for week 9 of the NFL season. Again, sorry we missed you last week, but you probably needed a break from us. We're pretty annoying. But that should be good for us, and that'll wrap us up. Appreciate it. Let's go Jets. Jets. Let's go Jets. Jets.